Hi, my name is Matthew Nugent. I am currently studying Level 3 Sports at North Hertfordshire College. My student number is U00034233, and this assignment is Unit 12, current issues in secondary schools and everything. In this assignment, one the development of organisations of sport and in general as well. So, in my presentation, I'll be discussing how sport has developed throughout the UK. So firstly, I'll be providing a timeline of sport. Well, I'll be discussing the timeline of development and dating it back to the agricultural period through the Industrial Revolution. I'll be outlining and referencing the war and public schools on development, sport in the UK, and finally I'll be explaining the organisational and the development structure of boxing, which is my chosen sport, placed in the content of wider societal development of sport in the UK as a whole. So I'll be describing and explaining the development and organisation of selected sport. So sport in the agricultural period. So what does sport look here? So during the agricultural times, society of people was split into three different categories. These were the working class, the middle class and the upper class. So the working class, which was known as the serfs, SERFs, the middle class, which was for the skilled workers, and upper class, which was known as the lords, knights and kings. So during the agricultural era, the working class did activities such as dog fighting, gambling, betting and everything, and drinking. So this is similar. On market days they did all these activities. They also did mob football. This is similar to how we play football today at this day, but there were swarms of people. So normally you would have 11v11, but this was like hundreds of people, which could lead to broken bones and potentially death. These sports led to the development of modern day football, sports including soccer, rugby and American football. And the upper classes would prefer to play sports like real tennis, horse riding or so, because they're more expensive and don't want to spend their money. So the Industrial Revolution. This took place in the 18th century until the mid-19th century, making a process of improved manufacturing and production which boosted the industry and encouraged new inventions and innovations. So in the 19th century, cities began to develop during the Industrial Revolution. The conditions for people's working were a lot harder. Places were a lot more cramped and unhygienic, bacteria and everything, meaning that the places were not in a safe working environment, etc. Skilled workers, which is the upper class, did jobs such as mining, labouring and working on building sites. All of these were physically demanding for them, so which kept their fitness up still and health. As there was so much work going on within the country and city, there was hardly any space for people to play sports. But country sports would include playing cricket, for example, as you're playing on a field in the country where there's open space. When it comes to spectating sports, cities and working class people would often spend their time watching these type of things. These are the people that would watch these type of sports, which are boxing and wrestling, etc. And finally, rich people, which were known as the upper class, would also often take part in some sort of sport and sport activities such as shooting, hunting and horse riding. The upper class had a lot more time, meaning they had a lot more time to do leisure activities. And going back to military purposes, they would be doing sports such as fencing or battling techniques, so shooting again to get their accuracy for shooting and fencing, to get their fitness up and keep going as long as possible. So rationalisation. So sport development began to spiral from the year 1860 onwards, and this was due to the industrialisation. Most people lived and worked in the urban areas, and the influence of rural elements in sports started to decrease. The lower classes would play football or rugby, whereas middle class would do swimming lessons at the time, or swimming, and the upper class would do sports such as horse riding, as I said before. they started to promote rationalisation to encourage the sports that were structured properly. This means that sports were more organised, which also meant everyone knew what they were doing and everything, and instead of making it up. The middle class gained a lot more wealth as they developed, which therefore meant that they had a lot more money to spend on doing sports, and getting equipment for sporting activities, and this created the start of swimming and cycling, etc. So working class preferred to watch sports such as bare knuckle fighting, which resulted in life-threatening injuries or potential death, and they enjoyed gambling as well and drinking. The influence of public schools created a general trend towards the regulation of how sports were played. This was called condification. The influence, so now we're talking about the influence of public schools. So in the 19th century, there were so many popular sports in schools such as cricket, rugby, tennis, soccer, and the rules of these sports were made up within the school.